Welcome back. We want to get to our continuing coverage here on the latest from our nation's capital, where, as we told you just a few moments ago, today's bomb threat that is raising some new concerns about national security.
Joining us for some insight on this is former Assistant FBI Director Chris Swecker. Chris, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. You retired after more than 2 decades with the FBI. You're currently living here in the Charlotte area. So walk us through some of the investigative process, maybe at both the Capitol and then here in North Carolina at his home, if you can.
Sure. I'm sure the FBI out of Charlotte, which is the main headquarters for the FBI field office, is scrambling like crazy. I was the head of that office for 5 years. I know the drill. They're out in Cleveland County scouring, probably searching his home by now, looking for any clues, any evidence of explosives or anything dangerous, any evidence of planned actions on his part, computer hard drives, mobile devices, any type of social media, any type of electronic media that shows that may show his motivation and intent. So that's happening there. They're checking his social network, his family and friends, to get more information about him. They want to see why he did this, why he was, and what his motivation was, and whether he acted alone, or is this an isolated instance, or were there others that may or may not be involved in this.
So, Chris, something that we were curious about, as we report on situations like this, it just feels like we're seeing more and more of these threats popping up and/or attacks. I mean, is that more than just a feeling? Is that substantiated with fact? And second of all, you mentioned social media. Does social media have a role in this? We do know that the suspect, Floyd Roseberry, had apparently posted on Facebook saying that the revolution has begun. We know some of those posts have since been taken down, but it seems like there is a social element to this.
Yeah, I think if you read the FBI's threat assessment for domestic violent extremists, which this person may fall into, because of social media, there has been a spike in this type of activity, really on both sides of the extremist spectrum, left and right. So there's no question there's been an increase in the threat activity. Some of it is, it's often lone wolves. That's specifically cited in the FBI threat assessment. People who are motivated by a certain ideology, but that mixes in with their own personal issues. And we find often in these cases that someone has all kinds of personal crises and issues that are playing out. There's a trigger, and then they sort of tag on to some ideology to provide justification what they do.
You know, Chris, while we live in the here and the now, and we look at what's happening not only on the world stage, but just this one particular incident, history is dotted with these kinds of incidents and these kinds of lone wolves. With the Olympic bombing, and then you had, the DC snipers, which was a 2. But you have different elements of these types of things happening throughout history. We tend to think that it's so much happening all at once.
It is. I mean, that's what they call the noise in the system. And, with social media, with the internet, with all kinds of different ways of expressing your views, electronically and on the internet. I mean, the FBI's workload and local police departments and DHS has increased incrementally. And, every little threat has to be run out. They call it a threat assessment. That didn't exist before 9/11, but after 9/11, without a lot of information other than the existence of a threat, the FBI can open up what they call a threat assessment. So you're seeing a lot more investigative activity. You're seeing a lot more activity itself, not just investigations, but real actions on the part of extremists on both ends of the political spectrum. But a lot of it is motivated on the internet or inspired on the internet, and a lot of it is lone actor activity.
Wow. Really fascinating topic for sure. And we appreciate all of your interesting insights as well. So, Chris, thank you for taking the time to join us. We hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.